Today I'm going to be making a privacy curtain that is going to go between the cab of the truck and the coach. It will not only give me privacy, but it will also insulate from the temperatures in the cab of the truck, whether it's hot or cold, which will help in either the heating or the cooling of Honey. This is going to be a really easy project, and I'll show you how to do it right now. When I first bought Honey, she had a privacy curtain that went across here, but it was very flimsy material and it didn't offer a lot of insulation or privacy really. And if you were trying to be stealthy while parked on the side of the road overnight, it really didn't filter out very much light. So I knew I wanted to get something heavier to replace it with. And I also wanted to be able to snap it on like the original curtain did. What I've been using up until now has just been a fleece blanket that I've been stuffing under the mattress here to keep it in place. It's worked, but it hasn't been great. I also wanted to make the curtain so the dogs and the cat couldn't push through it and go into the cab while I wasn't here. What I ended up buying was a very inexpensive room darkening curtain panel from Walmart. And this is it. It's by Eclipse, and this color is called Pewter. It is not very wide, but it's wide enough to be the right height for covering this space. And the length of it is a little bit longer than I actually need, so we're going to be cutting this shorter and sewing a seam on the one side and installing snaps along the top as well as on the bottom, and that will keep the animals from being able to push through it, hopefully. So now let's take this curtain into the house and we're going to do a little bit of sewing. So this is where the length needs to go to, but I also need to leave some fabric for a seam. So I'm going to fold it over with this big of a seam allowance so it will match the one on that side. So this is where I need to cut. You're not helping, Grace. You have to get off. Not yet. I have everything measured and pinned, and now I can sew. So here's my gray thread, and I just put it into the jar, and I put the jar behind the machine, and I feed the thread around the post. That is where the spool of thread would normally sit. So it goes around there. And Gracie has stolen the bobbin with the white thread on it, so I have to go look for that now. What'd you do with my bobbin? Quit knocking stuff off. Found it. So I'm going to sew two seams, one close to the actual fold and then one further over here. So here we are back in Honey, and I have the curtain and I have a pen to mark out where I want to place the snaps on the wood that's underneath here. So these are the snaps. You can get them at any fabric store, and there are normally 4 parts to each set of snaps, and I will show you what the 4 parts are. So these are the 4 pieces that make up a snap. These are the top pieces and these are the bottom pieces. So this is the top part of the snap. You can see this is a button looking piece, which is the part that goes on the top of the fabric, and it has a little post here like that, and this part here goes over top of the post, but you put fabric between them. So this little post here needs to have a little hole cut, which this tool has a special piece that will cut a hole in your fabric, and then you stick that post through the hole and you put this onto the back of the fabric, and you use this tool again with another special piece to squish that little post in there so it flattens open and it attaches the 2 pieces of metal, put the snap together around the fabric. And the back piece here is the same kind of idea. This is what would be on the back of the fabric, and this would be on the side that your snap is going to go into, and that hole goes over top of that post, and you do the same thing. That tool will spread that apart to attach the 2 pieces together around a piece of fabric. But because I'm not attaching it to a piece of fabric, I'm attaching it to the wall, I'm just going to be using this piece and I'm going to be putting a screw through there and screwing it into the wall. And then this piece here, which will be attached to the curtain, will slip into that, just like so. So there's the 3 pieces, so I don't need that piece for this particular project. I'm going to leave a link down below for this particular tool. There's a YouTube. This is my life. Things getting knocked off counters by a kitten. So I'm going to be leaving a link down below in the description for this tool, which will give a better example of what I am able to do here. So you can look down there if you want to know more about this tool and how snaps work. So here's the mark that I need to attach the back half of the snap to. So I've got my drill, I've got the back of the snap, and I'm going to put the screw through the middle of it, through that hole. So I've now got the screw through the middle hole in this bottom snap, and I'm going to screw it in place where I marked. This is the tool that I use to attach the snaps to the fabric. It also punches the hole through the fabric for the post of the snap to go through. So right now I've got a little attachment on here that is like a hollow circle, and it punches a hole into the fabric where I need to attach the snaps. So I'm going to use this to punch the holes. So you can see the blue mark where I need to attach a snap. So I place the tool over top and I just squeeze. And now I have a hole. The post of the top snap will go through here. So there's the top snap. It's going to go through that hole and come out the other side. Now I take the bottom half of this one and I put it on top of that post, and then I'm going to use a special tool to punch that flat. So I have the first snap attached here. You can see it comes off and it snaps back on. I have the next snap back on here already, and I need to punch a hole in the fabric to correspond with this snapback. And I'm not talking about the baseball hats worn backwards. So what I'm doing is I am placing the fabric over top of where I want it to have the button there, and I'm taking my felt pen and I'm making a mark where that hole needs to go, where the next snap needs to go. So now I have 2 snaps set up. So there's the first one and the second one is on. And I'm going to go on and put the other ones on here. I'm going to be putting on 3 more, and then I'll show you what the curtain looks like hanging over the opening. There is the curtain all put in. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 snaps along the top, and I've got the mattress propped up just so you can see it better. And then I'll show you the bottom. So I have 1, 2, 3, and then another one over there in the corner. And what I have, so you can see I can push against this, and there's still enough give in the fabric so the dogs can brush up against it or lie down on the floor next to the curtain and not have it so taut that it's just going to pop the snaps. So over top of these goes my little rubber mat. And when the curtain's down, it's not going to fit around the corner like I have the rug cut out there, but it will keep them from being able to dig underneath them, which I don't think they're going to be able to do anyway. So there is my privacy curtain all installed. And to take it out, I merely have to grab it and unsnap the snaps. and from the bottom as well. And it's done, and I can just fold it up, and I'll probably stick it under my pillow or something on the bed just to get it out of the way during the day. And just to show you the snaps in the floor, is just screwed into the wood flooring. Just like so.